Alright. I think we're about ready to get going here. Hang on though, before we go, because I got a bunch of TikTok stuff that pulled through that I was checking my phone. I gotta check all this stuff before we hop into the game. There's nothing more satisfying than blocking people. It feels so good. It's one of my favorite parts of my day. Blocking trolls. It's great on YouTube because you just hide them from the channel and they don't know that they've been blocked, and so they keep yelling into the void. But on TikTok, you can just actively block them and they just completely disappear. Oh, I think Chris just walked in the door. I need to go say hi to her before we get going here. And our ranch account is doing very well. We're exploding. I think we're about to cross 1,000 followers on TikTok, and we've only been using it for about a month. So it's going very well. YouTube's cruising along as well. All right, let's see here. Let me go see what Chris has to say, and then I'm going to get to the comments because we got some comments already come through from Cracks the Bold, Epic Claw, etc. I'll be right back. Watch your feet. I know, but she's so. I'm gonna turn the camera. It's gonna screw up the angle and everything, everybody. But from the green state, Smeagol's up on this chair right here. That's actually Pippin's chair, but Pippin is not in here right now, so Smeagol has taken over the chair, and Pippin's outside. What are you gonna do for lunch? ¿Qué vamos a poner hoy? ¿Carne molido o los hamburguesas o los hot dogs? Porque ya compraste. Ok, hamburguesas. Hamburguesas. No, está bien. Voy a terminar en casi 2 o 3 horas para comer. Chris just got back. I didn't realize where she had gone. She had stepped out to go get Leia, one of our cats. It was time for her annual rabies shot. So she went and got her rabies shot. Cracks the Bold says, the wife is bugging me to play EverQuest 2's new Origin server. I've not heard anything about it. Is it any good? I have a video coming out tomorrow, Cracks, that references this. I think it's like, it's on the channel as a premiere. It's either tomorrow morning at like 10 a.m. Central or 4 p.m. Central. Either way, it's on the channel as a premiere on YouTube. So you could just go, it'll show up as one of the most recent videos. You could set a reminder and go watch it. You guys are coming into the new Origin server a month too late. If she's already playing on the Origin server and has a good group of friends, then sure. If the two of you are planning on starting it together, I would not recommend starting on the Origin server. The population has already done one of two things. They've either moved on because the nostalgia wore off, or what's left are the hardcore, we're going to raid our way through the next 2 years of the expansions dropping. So if you want to raid, and that's what you want to do, that's fine. Log in, hurry your asses up to the max level, join a raid guild, you can have fun. But if you are joining to try to recreate that EverQuest 2 experience that maybe you might have in your mind from 15, 20 years ago, it's not going to be there for you. And the reason is because the Origin, any TLP server for EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2, you got about 3 weeks. When a server launches, you've got about 3 weeks of everyone in the community being active together and finding groups and everything else. And then the nostalgia wears off and like 85% of the community drops away, and what's left are the people who only want to raid. So if the two of you are wanting to just play EverQuest 2 to get the story, I would highly recommend just going and playing on the free-to-play live servers, get a couple of mercenaries. There are thousands of hours of storylines to enjoy, and that's what my video tomorrow is all about. Should you play it? You know, is the game worth it for new players coming into 2024, and sort of the discussion around that. It would just be the two of you. The reason I would say no is because this new progression server, the Origin server, is very much, it's far more group oriented than the previous TLE servers they've done in the past. You can't do anything without a full group past like level 5. Like, forget dungeons. You're not doing any dungeons of the game without a bunch of other people. There are still some low level groups to be had, but for the most part, people have either already moved off because the nostalgia wore off, because we're a month into it's more than a month now. I feel like it's like 6 weeks or something. When you're there, if you can be there at the start of a TLE server, when they're first going live, it's great fun. There's always like 20 versions of each instance open. There's tons of people to group with. But by 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, that's no longer the case because everybody's leveled up or moved on. And those games don't have huge numbers. Like, EverQuest 2 only has about 20,000, 25,000 paying subscribers. And how many of those are actually going over to the new progression servers is not that many. You've got a handful, a few thousand people is all you've got. So it's great when everybody's there together for the first time for the first 2-3 weeks of a server, but once that's happened, And that's just the cyclical nature over the past 7-8 years of the progression servers for EverQuest 1 and EverQuest 2, just as a side note. So I would highly recommend the live servers though. EverQuest 2 is a great game. There's great storylines. Most of it's voiced. It's a little dated in terms of graphics, but it still holds up okay. And if there's just 2 of you, you can get mercenaries and you can clear 100% of the content on your own and get 100% of the storyline, which is the way the modern game has been designed. Are you leaving, Smeagol? Or are you coming over here to my desk? Come on. Where are we going? Oh, we're going out. Do I need to open the door? Go show mommy. Anyway, that's the EverQuest 2 stuff. Epic Claw says, have you done the expedition? Nope, and I will not be doing the expedition anytime soon. Probably not while it's live, because I have way too much other stuff to learn about the game. Expeditions are way back in the back of my list of things I want to do. Crex also says, thanks for the No Man's Sky versus Starfield video. Helped me finally buy Starfield. Starfield's worth it, man. I have done 2 playthroughs of Starfield here on the channel. There are 2 different playlists. One is for my first playthrough, and there's a second playthrough, which I'm still kind of actively working on. The second playthrough is the one where I'm doing the ship building. I'll eventually get to outpost building, and then I'll be rolling that into the Shattered Space DLC this fall. So I will absolutely be playing more Starfield as the year wears on, especially when the DLC drops. Starfield is a good game that has become a great game. I really enjoy Starfield, and I joke about it, but not really. One of the easiest ways to find yourself banned from my channel is to talk smack about Starfield just because you hate Bethesda or you can't handle loading screens. Like the people who just come to bitch. Like I probably on that Starfield versus No Man's Sky video, I've probably hidden about 75, 80 people from the channel so far in the last 48 hours or 24 hours, however long it's been since that video went live. The trolls who come on here just to bitch about Bethesda and bitch about Starfield, bye-bye. Don't need you here. Don't want you here. Happy to take your views. Happy to take your money. But I don't want you here, ruining my community. I very much curate my audience, and I'm only here to celebrate the fun of games with people. So whether we're talking No Man's Sky or Starfield, I won't tolerate any just trolly discussions where people are like, I'm just not gonna. I hate that game. Screw Bethesda. I've had a few people who have said it about Hello Games too, and they've been hidden from the channel as well. Total playtime, I'm at 14 hours. Everybody, we're getting up there. Necros has been playing No Man's Sky a lot. Gives me the kind of vibes. Gives me the I kind of want to play Starfield vibes. Biggie D says, been enjoying your videos on No Man's Sky. Well, thank you guys. Necro says the whole loading screen thing is silly. Every game has loading screens. It's just that some games are better hiding. Exactly. We talked about this yesterday in great detail. Yep. We talked about the rock crack. We talked about cloud cover. We talked about ducking into caves. We talked about we listed yesterday during the stream. There was probably 20 different types of loading screens we talked about. It's a great discussion to have, but people are out of their fucking minds when they talk about Starfield and want to complain about loading screens. If you're tuning in for the first time today, everybody, we are live on YouTube and Twitch, multi-streaming like we do every single day. Follow where you want, support where you desire. Bits, cheers, and subs on Twitch. Super chats and memberships over on YouTube. New member video went live for our YouTube members last night. So check that out if you're a member over on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch this morning, the multi-streams happen in both places, but the day-to-day does happen on YouTube. So if you want to follow my reaction videos, game reviews, movie reviews, TV show reviews, book reviews, and all the things we do and talk about on a day-to-day basis, get over on YouTube because that's where most of the things happen. Now, we should have passed the time limits that we had yesterday, because yesterday I had a bunch of missions that had time limits on them and required me to, wait. Let's go in here for a minute. Let's check the log. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, the base computer archives we'll need to go back there, but I think first we have to talk to our science guy. I passed my test. I am free to explore, free to pursue my passion for structural analysis. Do you have data to operate on? An observatory would supply some. Think of all that might be done. The Korvax bears have no memory of our previous encounters. I do not know if they feel reconnected with the convergence, or if they simply don't recall what they should feel like. I should visit an observatory for them and see if the structural analysis they claim will prompt a memory. Okay.
Navigational data received.
Gather data from an observatory. Okay. Do you have anything? Oh yeah, we are supposed to do weapons terminal. We'll get to that later because right now I'm doing the stuff that had a time limit from yesterday. Alright. Is that going to be on this planet? That is over on this planet, I think. Biggity says, I've not delved much into Starfield. I think I was expecting the levels of support Skyrim gets with mods. Maybe then I'll jump in. I think the creator kit, it just dropped or is dropping this fall. But there are already a bunch of Starfield mods out there, but I think the official, I don't get into modding, so I can't speak to that. I'm pretty sure the mod kit is out there or is coming soon. It's a lot of fun. I like Starfield a lot. Biggity says, regarding World of Warcraft, as a solo player, I've mostly avoided raids and dungeons because it's not for me. Do you raid with a group? Can you fill in Joe WoW without raiding or having to do huge judgments? So let me answer that. That's a really good question for me to actually mark down as something to pull out to answer later. We are at 21 minutes in. So Biggie D asked the question. As a solo player for World of Warcraft, I've mostly avoided raids and dungeons because it isn't for me. Do you raid with a group? Can you fully enjoy WoW without raiding or having to do huge dungeons? So, this is a great conversation before we start our No Man's Sky stream today. First and foremost, modern World of Warcraft is entirely a solo gameplay experience if you're playing on the retail servers. It has optional group content, which includes heroic dungeons, mythical dungeons, heroic raids, and mythic raids. They have done great strides in the past 12 months to ensure that the solo player can still complete the dungeons and the raids without needing to worry about other people. They have a very robust looking for dungeon and looking for raid system, which allows new players to join up with other people to do things on the easiest difficulty ever. But the new expansion that's coming in a few short weeks, called The War Within, it takes that up a step further. So we now have follower dungeons, which means you as a solo player can go into a dungeon. This has been in since about, I think, March or April. You can go into a dungeon in anything Dragonflight or above, and the game scales that dungeon to you and adds people to your party. They're NPCs. So if you go in with 2 people or 3 people, it pulls however many people are necessary, however many NPCs are necessary, it adds to your group. If you go in by yourself, it adds 4 NPCs to your party of different classes that surround your class. So you can do the dungeons completely solo on story mode. Coming in The War Within are a new series of dungeons called Delves, which are scaling. It's you and an NPC, and you can go in with, I think, up to 3 people. Then in The War Within, shortly after the launch of War Within, they are adding story mode for raids, which means you'll be able to go into a raid by yourself or with a couple of your friends and complete the raids on story mode without needing to rely on anybody else. So the second part of your question is what's getting answered first. Can you fully enjoy World of Warcraft without raiding or having to do huge dungeons? You can if you want to, but if you want to get 100% of the storyline, you can still do dungeons and you can still do raids, and you could choose to do those in the new expansion by yourself, or you can choose to use the looking for dungeon or the looking for raid matchmaking system, which puts you into a queue where you join up with other randos, and it's on super easy mode. No mechanics are necessary to know for the most part. You could run around and not need to know a lot of what's going on. There are some fights where you'll need to know a little bit of the mechanics, but for the most part, anybody can go do it without any previous knowledge or anything else. The other part about that, do I raid with a group? I do. We have a guild on the Moonguard server. We raid on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Central. Those are streamed here on my channel as a general rule. Our guild is called Risen. We have a very tight-knit community. We are currently closed to recruitment, but we will be bringing new people into the fold over the coming months as we flesh out our raid force for the War Within. We do not raid on heroic mode or mythical mode. We raid on normal mode, which is a step up in difficulty from the story mode. It's just the normal mode. It's very casual, very laid back. But there are different tiers of progression in World of Warcraft. So if you want to play the game and raid hardcore, you could do mythical difficulty, or you could do heroic difficulty, or you can do no difficulty at all and just do it on story mode. It really is for the perspective of the solo player these days, and the latest expansion coming out this fall called the War Within is taking that up a step further with the introduction of story raids and delves on top of the existing follower dungeons, which allow the single player the ability to go in and still see 100% of the story content, 100% of the cutscenes. You just won't get all the achievements that you would get from going and doing it with other players. So there is that caveat, is that the achievements are tied to doing things with other players. So hopefully that answers your question regarding World of Warcraft. Necro said I would add most MMOs are solo to focus these days. Yep, I actually just have this conversation with somebody about EverQuest 2. I have a video going live tomorrow talking about EverQuest 2 in the modern era, how it's very much a solo RPG. You don't need a group of other players. It's 100% optional. Danielle says, been really wanting to get into WoW recently. Think I might try it when the expansion drops. Or should I start playing now as a new player? Wait until the new expansion drops, because well, I mean, you could get going now. Here's the caveat I would say this. If you get going now and you've never played before, you're going to be in a rush to get a new character to cap before the expansion drops. And the expansion starts on the 26th. That may or may not be enough time for you. There is an event that starts on the 30th of this month and runs until the expansion drops. I think it's called Radiant Heart or something, where you're going to be able to participate in an event, get tokens, use those tokens to buy gear, and you can get gear for a character that will then be ready to go straight into the War Within. But if you haven't played before, I would highly recommend just, waiting 3 weeks or whatever until the War Within is live, and then buy the game and get going from there. It's going to be a really good expansion. Biggity says, "Wow, that sounds absolutely incredible. I haven't played this year or any of Dragonflight." Oh, well, if you haven't played Dragonflight, that's the big changer, man. Because Dragonflight was when they introduced follower dungeons earlier this year, and they really refined the looking for raid, looking for dungeon part to make it super accessible to the solo player to go in and do dungeons on their own, to not need to rely on other people, and they've made it even more solo friendly with the War Within, which is launching here in a few weeks. Will it still drop epic or close to epic gear? Not on solo mode. Solo mode, not in dungeons and raids anyway. If you want the epic rewards, you have to go do the raids. But also, the delves that are coming, the delves are a new form of dungeon in World of Warcraft that allows players to earn raid level gear grinding in this new delve system. So you will be able to get epic level gear through the delve system, which again is solo, or it can be run with, I think, with up to 3 people, I think. But it's the small little 15-minute bite-sized pieces of content. But you will be able to earn epic level rewards from that. But if you want the best tier rewards, the best raid gear, the best heroic, you're gonna have to raid at heroic and mythical levels, or do dungeons at heroic mythical levels, and those cannot be done solo. You will need to. I would recommend finding a good group of people to play with at that point, because if you're trying to do heroics and mythicals through through random looking for group stuff, matchmaking, that could be a recipe for disaster because not everyone is a good player. You're welcome. I would highly recommend it. It's a great game. It's the only MMO that I sub to right now. And I had never really played World of Warcraft until the beginning of this year, late last year. I dabbled a little bit here and there, played some Classic, but never really played retail. But I'm loving it. Honestly, the game, I didn't realize how much Star Wars: The Old Republic had taken from World of Warcraft until I played World of Warcraft retail, and then I went, oh shit. Like, everything that Star Wars: The Old Republic does well is from World of Warcraft. Like, the scaling dungeons, the matchmaking system, like, all the cutscenes. It was, yeah, if you've played Star Wars: The Old Republic, World of Warcraft retail feels a lot like the same thing, the way they've done it. Big fan. Can't wait for the whole World Soul saga, because that's what's about to kick off as a trilogy of expansions. They're all about one storyline, which is pretty much what we're all about. Gather data from the observatory is what we're supposed to do. Alright, there's probably some sort of a structure around here. Nothing over there. There it is. I guarantee that's it right down there. Don't know where the entry is. Let's go ahead and sit down. Okay, we're going in here. Basilic says, I just watched your EVE Online video last night. Am I still playing? Nope, I haven't played about, maybe since January, February? Not since I made those rash of videos. I made a whole bunch of videos. Honestly, I don't remember when that was. It's been a while ago. It's been 6-8 months since I did EVE Online stuff. Who are you? Enemy Slayer, Udoja. A red, ragged, and recent bite mark is wrapped around the entirety of the warrior's neck. Claw marks scar their chest, and their exosuit lights flash red. The wound appears to be infected, host to strange green spores. They're having trouble breathing? Share oxygen. They discreetly accept my offer to recharge the life support system. They offer me an upgrade module, and thanks. Sweet! I just got a life support module as a reward. How cool is that? Can I install it? Does that replace the one I already have, or is that just like an additional? It's an additional thing. Okay. Life support tanks. Plus 11%. Well, that's kind of cool. A bunch of stuff I could analyze that I hadn't analyzed before. Alright, let's get the stuff that I came here for. Data siphon installed, accessing. The observatory appears to have been calibrated for a single purpose to locate the interfaces of a being the Korvax call the Atlas. After many years, the inhabitants of this facility succeeded in their quest, disappearing without a trace. Let's download the data. Return to the scientist. Vicky says, I do tabletop RPGs, and they're incredible if you've never tried yourself. Yep, I've done a lot of TTRPG commentary on the channel. We even did an actual play series for Starfield last year. Was it last year? I've actually written and published Tabletop RPG, 5th edition supplement. It's the most recent game dev project I worked on with my brother and my wife. We launched a 5th edition Tabletop RPG rulebook with a level 1 to 4 adventure module in it, and along with that, the first novel in a series, kind of like Dragonlance, for those of you who like it, and a point-and-click adventure game. I'm guessing there's nothing else in here. More information on that can be found at www.weaveandvoid.com or www.wanderinghermits.com. You can also check out my Patreon for all the documentation. In my Discord, there's also an archived section. That was about a 3-year project, which we wrapped up earlier this year. I also am the founder of Stormhaven Studios, which publishes the Embers Adrift MMORPG, which was previously known as the Saga of Lucemia MMORPG, based on my Saga of Lucemia book series. Goodspeed says, I'm a new subscriber to your channel. I loved your video that you made a comparison to Starfield. It was great. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Vaseline says, any reason why you stopped EVE Online? Yep, I'm a variety streamer. I don't play one game. I play many, many, many games. Most games on the channel get a run of at most 2 to 3 months, woven in with lots of other things. But I generally play 10 to 15 games a month. We do lots of first impression videos, we do early thoughts videos, I do TV film reviews, book reviews, we do tabletop stuff, we do gaming news, we do reaction videos, I do all sorts of stuff. I am a full-time content creator and streamer on YouTube and Twitch. Daily streams happen at 11 a.m. in both places. But yeah, I play a lot of different games. No, it was a casual thing in the background for like 2 months, maybe 3 months. It was what I'm doing with No Man's Sky right now is what I was doing with EVE Online when that was happening. And I've also done other things. Usually there's one game that's like the main game, and if it's a big game, it might be something that takes up everything for a few. Like I think the most recent would have been my second. Right now we're doing No Man's Sky, but just before this was my second playthrough of Starfield. That was like 6 weeks doing a second playthrough of that. Before that was, I think, Dragon's Dogma 2. Before Dragon's Dogma 2 was Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Before that was EVE Online, somewhere in there. And then I also did another playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077 along with the Phantom Liberty DLC. Before that was the Starfield first playthrough. Then there was a Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, and we could just keep going back over time. Have I played Star Citizen? I backed the Kickstarter. I have played multiple times over the years, but I'm not actively playing it, and I have no interest in actively playing it. Not until they give us a release date for Squadron 42. I'm not in it to win it. Interested in it, can't wait to play it. Squadron 42 is my main interest, not Star Citizen, but until they give us a release date, I very much I think I've dropped in about every 2 years. I'll drop into the alpha and check it out. I am due to check it out again for the first time in a while. Also, I have a new PC now that has a 4080 in it, so I'm very curious to see how the current iteration of Star Citizen plays on my new rig. So probably in the next couple of months, I might drop into Star Citizen just to take a look at it. But I don't actively play it, and I won't until they agree to launch it. Which, who knows when will happen. But I am not in the hate Star Citizen camp. I've been a backer since Kickstarter. Happy to just follow along whenever they decide they're going to release. Vicky says, I love Dragonlance. I also love Dragonlance. It's a lot of fun. I like Dragonlance more than Forgotten Realms, but I do love both. Perhaps the data will answer. Merely these blueprints for living glass and a beacon. What the heck is living glass? And if guide says, in an unmanned sky, have you talked to other pilots in the space station? I have. To find out you can offer to buy the ship. Yep. Perhaps the beacon may be of use. Construct one and the convergence may find me again. Alright, so that's all well and good, but we need to go to the base computer archives because this person has stuff that I need, which was off planet. Wait, do I need to interact with my base computer? Or is it the one on that other planet? Yep, that was somewhere else. Okay. How am I doing on fuel? I should probably make some more Starship fuel. What is this? Salvaged glass. Sentinel exosuit fragment. What is that? Life support tanks plus 5, core health plus 33%, sprint distance 31%. That's a huge bonus. That's cool. Alright, don't get sidetracked. We need to make some Starship fuel. Which means I need metal plating. We'll hold on to that for later. Yeah, there are a lot of Dragonlance books. There's a lot of Forgotten Realms books too, but I've always been particular to the Dragonlance world more than the Forgotten Realms world. But if you really want to get into either or, I would say Ed Greenwood is a lot more active on social media than Weiss and Hickman are in terms of fulfilling people's deep, dark, questions, answering their questions about Forgotten Realms. Like Ed Greenwood is he's got his own YouTube channel, he's on TikTok, he's everywhere, and he does tons of deep dives into Forgotten Realms lore, and it's a very unique relationship that he has with Wizards of the Coast in regards to, they own Forgotten Realms, but he is still allowed to create within that world and work within that world, even though he's sold the rights to it. He still has, he kept on to that, and he keeps doing some really cool stuff with Forgotten Realms. Whereas Dragonlance was kind of left to the wayside for many, many years, but Weiss and Hickman did come back and write a recent trilogy of books, and they're out there promoting some new stuff. They have a new steampunk world they just created too. I think that either went to Kickstarter or is a separate project they're working on. But there are a lot of Dragonlance books, and they're a lot of fun to read. Yeah, it sucked that Joe was working on that Dragonlance show, and then it got shelved. It was unfortunate. I'm sad about that because a live action Dragonlance would have been badass. 'Tis what it is. Oh shit! I don't know which one of these planets I needed to go to. Does it matter? It's got to be this one. Because it's also leading me to the other one. I probably had a space station here that I could have traveled to and not wasted warp fuel. Oops. But I don't remember where I need to go, so it's not that big of a deal. Goodspeed says, how long have you been a full-time streamer, and can you give out some tips, some top tips? A little over 2.5 years full-time. Tips. The biggest tip I can give is if you're going to do this, you have to be willing to work 16 hours a day for less than minimum wage and be prepared to spend several years grinding for absolutely no money. And you're either going to need a job, a supportive spouse or significant other, or some sort of a nest egg saved up, because you are not going to make money at first. It's going to be 3 years probably realistically before you start to make enough money to live off of. And many people, I would say 99% of people, cannot make it past the 3-year mark because they burn out, they give up, they can't do it, they run out, they want to make money quick, they want to become famous, all this other stuff. And number 2 is you have to be entertaining. You can't just sit here and stare at the screen. You have to talk. You have to. Someone said the other day, oh, great. So they were watching one of my streams. They were, oh, great. Another streamer who narrates everything that's happening while it's happening. And I went, you're goddamn right, because that's how I make a living. And I would much rather do this than what I used to do. So I never finished high school. I never went to college. I worked construction as a 3rd-generation ceramic tile and natural stone contractor for 20 years. I also grew up on a dairy farm, which is now a cattle ranch. If I can become a video game streamer, anyone can become a video game streamer. But it requires a lot of hard work, and you have to be willing to put in those 16-hour days for 3-4 years. Hopefully not 4 years, but at least 2 to 3 years, making no money to get to the point where you can make some money. And even then, you're probably not going to be making more than a minimum wage for a very long time. You don't get to start making the big bucks like Co-Carnage and Asmongold, etc. until you've been doing this 7, 8, 9, sometimes 10 years. So if you have any ideas in your head about somehow making it big and making tens of thousands of dollars being a streamer, the reality is that's probably not going to happen. But if you're willing to sit down and put the time in, it is a long, slow grind. 1 year ago on July 14th, I just had gotten to 10,000 subscribers 1 year ago. And I went from 700 to 10,000 over the course of about a year and a half. So it took me a couple of years to get to 700, and then from 700 to 10,000 went much more quickly. And then 10,000 to 30,000, which went even more quickly. So it's just hours, man. It's literally being able to put in the hours and spend the time doing it. If you can do that, there's no tip that I can give you other than you have to be able to put in the time and not burn out, have realistic goals, don't expect to get rich. The snowball effect, says Great Aid. Essentially, yeah, I mean, there's also peaks and valleys. Like, you'll have a month, 2 months, maybe 3 months where you don't have a ton of traffic, and then suddenly you get something that pops off. And unless you're, trying to push an OnlyFans account, it's a long, slow process of just. Asmongold has some really good videos about it. Co-Carnage has some great videos about it. Just the grind, and you can't stop. It's 16-hour days, day in, day out. You don't get to be sick. You don't get to take off. You don't get to have mental health days. You don't get to have, oh, I don't feel good. Too bad. Woo, we almost crashed into the world here through that fog layer. This is probably leading me to a different place that I need to go, because there was definitely another. I bet it's this structure right here. There was another planet we needed to go to that we were at yesterday, and I feel like this is not that place. Daniel Russian says that's what happened to me. The burnout got to me. Hey, it's a real thing. It affects a lot of people. Goodspeed says I have a full-time job. I just applied for part-time job on the weekends, starting to stream when I can. That's where you need to start. Take your spare time. When Chris and I used to do consultations, and I used to do public speaking as a full-time gig. One of the number one things we would always tell people for brand building, which I got from Gary Vaynerchuk, got from Gary V, which is there are 24 hours in the day. Your day job only takes up 8. Maybe your transport to and from work takes up another 2. There's 10 hours a day. Time with the wife and kids, husband and kids, whatever, significant other. Give another 4 hours there, you're up to like 14, 15 hours. You need a few hours of sleep every night, say 6 hours. You know, you can find 6 to 8 hours a day, every day, to work on whatever is your passion project. Whether that's hobby painting, streaming, video games, guitar, modeling, acting, whatever. I think Pirate Software talks a lot about this too. Whatever is your day job, just think of that as like that's the fuel that you need. That's the resource that you need, which is money, to fund what it is that you really want to do. And if you can view your job as nothing more than that fuel source, and you just turn your brain off, do the stupid job that you have to take to get the money you need to pay for your life, and then use that to fund whatever it is that you really want to do. And if you work hard at it, and you're willing to dedicate the time and effort to it, you can make the thing that you want to do become your day job. But it does take time. It's not instantaneous. It will never be instantaneous. The people who get it instantaneously, like the Hawk Tui girl, that's pure fucking luck. That is pure, absolute luck. And that's the random person who wins the lottery. It's never going to happen. Think of it that way. If you think about it like it's never going to happen and you just focus on the grind, that will happen. Otherwise, you know, if you're waiting on your moment to be famous, that's a lesson in futility. Something just dropped down from the ceiling and tried to eat me, I think. Okay, hazardous flora detected. What the fuck is eating me? Oh, there it is. You know what? I have a gun now. Did it not kill you? It's dropped down twice to eat me. Remote active herms waiting my input. Access the memory. We see the sentinels swarm across the void, warping in and out of this dimension at the will of some unknown force, depositing the echoes of the dead within the archives. Laylaps does not join the others. It just stares at me, its light still shining, unaltered, unabated. It is a comfort to me. I searched the physical cache attached to this terminal. Whoever recorded the message also left a piece of tech. I got a bolt caster module. I don't have any more. Flora analysis. Let's go ahead and install that. Vacuum supercharger. Damage, shots per burst, burst cooldown. Cool. Pass. Alright, let's check my... So search base computer archives. Interact with the base computer. Is that going to be on my home planet? Teleport back instantly. Yep. We're not going to build a new base. We're going to go back to our main base, but we're going to go up to the space station and probably just go from there. Time to find a bigger multi-tool. It kind of feels that way, Dennis. I'm starting to feel the limitation of my little baby starter multi-tool, and I don't know if I can put more modules on it like I can with my suit and my ship, or if it's just one of those things where I need to find a bigger, better new one. Dr. J says, great advice, much needed. You are welcome. There's no secret, man. It's really just... There's a guy on TikTok who kind of went viral early this year with a song because he does music, and it was like one of the lyrics to his song is, I just did it, it was hard. Don't ask me how I did it, I just did it, it was hard. And that's kind of how I feel about doing this for a living, which is, don't ask me how I did it, I just did it, it was hard. Like, it's just, you just fucking put the time in is what it comes down to. Just grind. And there's multiple ways you can do it. Like, I have a very, I don't have a persona. So what you see is what you get. Whereas other guys like Asmongold started off having a persona. He's kind of backed away from the persona in recent years, and he's just tried to be himself. Co-Carnage is very much kind of himself. Other guys have like personas they play, and you can do a lot more if you're playing a persona in terms of virality, because you could do stupid shit that you might not be able to get away with if you're just doing realistic streams. But I feel like trying to put on a show every single time that you're live, or you're trying to outdo yourself from the day before, is a lesson in futility, because eventually you're going to become a gimmick, where you're relying on gimmicks to provide cheesy gags for your audience. It's much better to just, whatever's your personality, whatever's your thing, and it could be something, like there's that couple that play World of Warcraft together where they dress up in full costumes, like he's a dwarf, she's a dwarf, and they both have dwarf, like, they put on wigs and eyebrows and beards and everything else, and like that's their thing. They play World of Warcraft, they focus on World of Warcraft, they play together, they multi-stream together, and they're in costume and in character while they're streaming. That's something very unique, and if you can do that, great. Other people I'll see stream with, like, you know, they have a wizard hat on, and he's like the wizard streamer, the hermit streamer, whatever. You know, everybody can have like a thing if you want to have a thing. Otherwise, just be yourself. But there's no secret to it. It's just hours per day. Is the space station for this place. Let's see if we've been there. Yeah, I know I can. I don't want to. I like flying through space. Plus, I need to check this space station and see if I've gotten the suit upgrade from here or not. Info Guide said I would add to the comments and say just start, don't get hung up on perfection in the first few months. Yeah, that's another, I think Gary Vee has said this over the years, and I know we used to talk about it in our conferences. Aiming for perfection when you're just getting going is the wrong place to be focusing your energy. Documentation is the most important part of any process, and if you just start off, everyone's going to suck at the beginning. Yeah, I've already done this station. Everyone's gonna suck when you start out. You're gonna have a shitty camera. You're gonna have no clue how to talk to the camera. You're not gonna know how to do video editing. You're gonna learn all that stuff. I always go back to when I first started working online back in 2008. 2007, I was still working construction. Sold my truck, sold my tools, moved abroad, went to Bulgaria, was living there, started writing for a living. I had to learn WordPress, PHP. I had to learn how to make websites. I had to learn how to program the websites. I had to learn all social media from scratch because social media was just becoming a thing at the time. That led me to learning Photoshop for my photo editing. That led me to Lightroom, further photo editing, which led me into videography, which led me to learning how to use things like Filmora and Sony Vegas Pro to do video editing, which led me to all these other things and tools that I've used over the years that I've since, now I'm on to, I use Canva for almost everything, and I don't use Photoshop that much anymore. I still use Lightroom quite a bit, but it's all stuff that you just start off, and you just go. Like, I used to joke because I used to make living as a blogger. I was a full-time blogger for about 10 years, travel blogger in the travel industry. And I spent like 7 years creating content with an old point and shoot. Some of you may know what I'm talking about, but it looked like a I don't have anything that would probably represent it at the time, but let's just imagine, here I have an external hard drive. But let's just imagine something that was a little bit bigger than this, but I had an old point and shoot camera. It was literally like probably a 6 megapixel, 12 megapixel, $250 Olympus point and click camera that I bought in like probably 2004, 2005. I used that camera until it died in 2015 when Chris and I were in Spain, and that was like 7 years into working full-time in travel photography and travel blogging, and I was making a living using a shitty little $250 camera before I ever spent the money to go, and then we spent like $5,000 to get a very nice DSLR camera rig set up with lenses and everything else that we wanted, and tripod and sliders and all that other stuff. But I built my entire career off of a little shitty point and click camera with that career. Streaming, I've done everything up until this point. I just upgraded my gear. I just upgraded my laptop in June. I've done everything off of a Rogue Strix laptop with a 1080 in it. Everything I've done over the last, I've had that laptop it's still my stream rig right now. It's the rig that I'm running it's my stream box. I didn't have a capture card until like November of this last year. I used to just, if I was streaming something from the Xbox or the PlayStation, I would literally just run it through like Xbox Play or PS Play, whatever the apps that they have, and then just capture the window. I would just capture the app within Streamlabs, even though it was shitty 1280 by 720p. It didn't matter. It still was videos that would go out on YouTube, which earned revenue, which earned me money and earned me subscribers. Like, you don't need thousands of dollars of gear to get started. You just need some basic stuff and hours per day. Well, I've already grabbed this space station stuff, so let's head on back to the base. Dr. J says he used to stream all the time, but got burned out, slowly getting back into it. What's up, James? EK-Man says you can get 2 exosuit upgrades per system. Yep, one from the station and one from the anomaly. You are absolutely correct. That much I've learned over the last few days of playing. But I've already got the one from that system, so... Okay, we're going off planet again. going to Easelbub. Ooh, I don't have any hyperdrive fuel, so hold that thought. Did I make any before I left? I did not. I don't have enough hyperdrive fuel. I might have to land again to make. I need a warp cell, right? I probably need more than one warp cell. I should land and just make a whole bunch of fuel. All right, hold that thought. We're gonna go back down. Where's my base? There's my base. No, that's my star station. Where the heck is my base at? There we go. If you're tuning in today for the first time, everybody, don't forget I am multi-streaming on YouTube and Twitch, so you can watch live in both places. We usually go live around 11 a.m. Central every single day. The day-to-day stuff happens over on YouTube, so all the game guides, reaction videos, and everything else come out over on the tube. We're also active on all the social medias. There's a Discord and a Patreon if you want to get involved in my stuff as a sci-fi fantasy author. Links to all the stuff is down below. Currently playing a lot of No Man's Sky, but I'm also kicking off today, actually, after I finish this up. So this morning we did the reaction videos this morning before I played No Man's Sky, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos to cut out of there. But then also today I'm starting my Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 single-player campaign playthrough starts today. So those will start to show up on YouTube as Let's Play episodes over the next few days throughout this week, because it's a very short campaign. It's like 6 hours. It's probably 10 or 12 episodes in total. I usually do about 30-minute episodes. Alright, let's see what we need to do this. Also doing Red Dead Redemption 2. My third playthrough, just doing that for fun. Sometimes at nights we'll stream, and then tonight, Monday nights, I play EverQuest 2 with some friends on the Origin server, but that's only a limited time event. We're wrapping up on August 8th, so there's only like 2 or 3 weekends left, and I stream World of Warcraft on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights, 6 p.m. Central Time. Okay, we need... Let me focus on this for a bit, guys. I gotta actually pay attention here. I need warp cells. I need probably about 4 of them. So I need 4 anti-housing antimatters, 4 antimatters, and 4 antimatter housings. Ooh, I'm gonna need chromatic metal and condensed carbon. Let's see what I got in here. I haven't learned what the graphics are for everything yet, so I have to always hover over everything to see if I've got what I need. I'm pretty sure I have my... Did I leave the copper in the refiner? I did not, but we need some more fuel for this.
Technology recharge.
Where did I put my copper? Is it in this ship? No. Where the heck is my... Although... Exosuit. Where the heck did I put my copper? Do I need to harvest some more copper? I might need to. Yeah, gold, sodium nitrate. Yeah, I sure shit don't see any copper. So I must have used it all up the other day. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to go harvest some copper, it looks like. Someone asked, what's my Instagram? It's everything is Renfail or Renfail SOL. But there's links down below to everything. Dude, Dennis is like the famous, where did I put my copper? Pretty sure I used it all yesterday. Let's see what else I need, because I also need antimatter housing, which needs oxygen and ferrite dust. So I just need to go. Yeah, we don't have enough of anything, so I just need to go harvesting. One thing I can do really quick, because I totally have some of the junk rust that we can turn into ferrite dust. Here it is. 300 ferrite dust while I am looking for a copper node. No. What would that fall under? Copper. Locate substance. The problem is some of these I've already mined. Yeah, like this one I'm pretty sure I already mined because it looks like there's just a hole up here. Yep. Oh, there's a boost function? I didn't know that. Oh, that's badass. Alright, hold that thought. I need to get out of here and check my visor. Because that node didn't have anything in it. Are there other copper deposits? That's the only one it's showing me so far. I wonder if I'm going to have to go to another planet. We're just going to go in this direction for a little bit and see if I can't find some copper nodes. Whee! Scanning, scanning. It still wants to point me back to that one node. Is that really the only copper on this planet? It's a bunch of magnetized ferrite. I may have to go to another planet to find some more copper, everybody. Which I'm going to need to make the chromatic metal. This is all periphinium and magnetized ferrite. We'll travel a little bit further out. I thought that was a bug, EK man. Like restoring and then doing it again. I traditionally don't like to use exploits like that. It's kind of against the spirit of... I've been told that that's an exploit bug. I don't know if that's true or not. Let's see if I've got any more copper on. Nope. There There's like no more copper nodes on this planet. I'll be damned. I think I need to go into space and find a new planet. Because this one only seems to have that one copper node. Alright, well, we can... There's an easy solution to this. Let's... Yeah, I don't have nearly enough money to buy things yet, so I'm still very much doing it the old-fashioned way. What do we got on this planet? Did it not show me anything for that one? The anomaly, which I don't need to go to. This one has copper on it. It says high sentinel activity though. That's usually not a good thing. Yeah, if I have problems here, James, I'll go back to my planet and go to a different section. This one might be a bad decision because there's high sentinel activity. Is this still tracking the one? Nope, there we go, right there. That's 1,000 away. Okay. Ooh, we also got silver on this planet and dioxide, which I've never seen before. Okay. I need some more launch fuel. Hang on, let me get in this ship. I need to make starship fuel, which is probably just some metal plating. Bum, 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 bum.
Technology recharge.
Alright, did it still track that after I took off? I sure as shit don't see it tracking really quick. No, it's behind me, so let's just turn around. To be honest with you though, I should probably just hoof it across the planet. Because I need everything else. Yeah, I'm gonna hoof it. Because I need other stuff too. Like ferrite dust. Oops. So I pissed the sentinels off. carbon down there.
Thermal protection falling. Units received.
What is this? Oh, this gives me chromatic metal. I didn't know I could get that from mining. I thought I had to process it only. Very cool. What's up, Babylonia?
Units received.
I also need condensed carbon. I need so much of all sorts of things. Let's go ahead and grab this really quick. Carbon crystals. Because I need the condensed carbon. So definitely if I can find some more of those. Yep. Ouch. Okay. I wonder how I'm doing on sodium. I haven't actively checked. Go, 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 go. Sentinels. They suspected something, but I got away. This will be the kickers if I can manage to harvest this without getting seen or caught. Oh, I hear sentinels. I see them on my radar all of a sudden. I'm gonna grab this and run. I haven't seen any oxygen. There's one right over there. What we got? Junk metal. Has this already been discovered? Yep.
Thermal protection falling. Technology recharge. Technology recharge. Technology recharge.
Alright, we're good. I think, Goodspeed says, what are your thoughts on Iron Man becoming Doom? So, my reaction video went out yesterday, which went viral on TikTok, which is... just, dude, playing another dude. Disguise as another dude. Um, I think that if they pick the timeline where Iron Man becomes Doctor Doom, which I'm assuming is what they're going to do, sure, okay. But it does feel, and I have nothing against Robert Downey Jr. I think he's an amazing actor. Um, but it does, the timing of it feels very gimmicky to me, considering they had to cancel the Kang movie because of the lawsuit and all this other stuff. It just felt, it feels to me, wow, should I jump down that hole? Probably not. It just feels to be like they're jumping onto Robert Downey Jr. as like the savior of the next stage of the Marvel universe, but I could be wrong. Um, I have no doubt that he's going to do a kick-ass job as Doctor Doom. I have no doubt. He is an amazing actor, and I love everything Robert Downey Jr. does. But I will, of course, poke fun at it because it does feel very much like I'm just a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. Because it does feel very much like there are 1,000 other actors they could have gotten. Um, and other directions they could have gone, but it feels like they're going to be going in the direction of Iron Man becoming Doctor Doom. Again, nothing wrong with that. But I'm totally going to poke fun of it. And then I'm going to go watch the shit out of it, just like I do all the other Marvel stuff. Although I'm behind on... I haven't seen Season 2 of Loki yet. That's the one show I haven't caught up on. Ah, man, what a bummer. There's like a sentinel right here where I want to do mining. I bet he's going to come over here and investigate. About to find out. See how much of this we can get before the sentinels become pissed off. I live 3 hours away from a cinema, so no, I'm not going to go see Wolverine versus Deadpool. I'll wait till it's on home media. Make Marvel great again? That would be fun. Yeah, I quit watching after Endgame. Other than, you know, it's not that I quit watching, it's just that for me, it kind of that was the end for me because it's already 15 years of Marvel. I will continue to watch it, but like I much preferred the Netflix era shows to the Disney Plus era shows. Not that the Disney Plus era shows are bad, like why am I blanking on the Moon show with Oscar Isaac they did? It was Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke. That was brilliant. Season 1 of Loki was brilliant. There are definitely some good things happening within the Marvel space. But like I didn't actively like, oh, the new like all the Marvel movies from Iron Man up until the second Endgame movie, I went to saw those in the theater, and I made a point. Was like, I'm going to see every single one of these movies in the theater. Since those movies ended, I don't care if I see them. Like the most recent Spider-Man, I don't care if I see that in the theater. Like I'll wait for home media. Like I don't need to go to the theater anymore to see those films. Like that's kind of where I am with Marvel. I'm happy to watch them. I'm happy they're still producing them. I will watch whatever they do, put out whatever they decide to do. I'm happy to support it, but I'm not going to go to the theater anymore to see them because like I kind of already done that. You know, I did like 15 years or 20 years, whatever it was, of going and seeing Marvel films at the theater. I'm content to sit at home, and watch things on the big screen with Chris. Alright, that's all the copper we're getting out of that one. I feel like I don't have that much copper on me. I mean, 500's a little bit, but it's not a lot. Dun, 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 dun. I live further in the sticks than you, info guides. Twisters does look like a lot of fun. I've seen some really good previews, Brett. I can't wait to watch that when it comes out. Horde's Coffee says, can this game be played on the Xbox Series X? I am playing this game on the Xbox Series X. The World's Part 1 update came a few days ago to the Xbox version. Oh, I think I'm out of inventory space, I think. That is one big-ass plant structure. Oh, that's one of those frozen tubers, which I totally don't need. What is this? It's just more carbon. Honestly, I think we're good to go back to our home planet and start refining all this stuff. Let's get over to my base. Frozen tubers are not as good as YouTubers, says Dennis King. I'm going to give that a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10 for dad jokes. Coming in hot. Where's my landing pad? There we go. Did it not bring? Did it not bring my? Is my crawler out there somewhere? Can I call it back? Okay, you can call it back. All is well with the world. Oh, it ran out of fuel. Normal carbon is fine. Let's grab all of those. Let's put all of the copper in and refine it all down. Okay. We're doing warp fuel. I need to do think it was. Surely 4 will be enough. I don't remember how many. I don't remember if the warp fuel is 25. Somebody who's in chat, can you guys answer me? Is warp fuel worth 20% or 25% towards fueling your warp core drive? Or does it tell you actually? I never even looked to see if it actually tells you. Yeah, it doesn't tell me how much it does. So does it do like 20% or 25%? Antimatter. 25%? Okay, then I only need to build 3 of these at the moment. Alright, antimatter housing. Which makes me warp fuel. Warp cell, sorry. Did I make the wrong thing? I may have made the wrong thing. God damn it. Oh, I was looking at the I was trying to hang on. I'm an idiot. I was trying to put it on the pulse engine, not the not the hyperdrive. All right, hang on. This will give me 80%. So it gave me 75%, so those are absolutely 25% per. Okay, that's good to know. Brett says it depends on what level your warp drive is. Brett, we do dad jokes around here? You should let me know that. All right. I think we have enough now to go to the next planet for the quest.
Technology recharge. Technology recharge.
I have another Starship launch fuel, and I'm at 60% right now, so we're good there. Stash some of this stuff. Stash the nitrate. I'm going to hold on to the pearls because I need to sell those. It's just fluids we can turn into nanites. Rusted metal we can convert. Wiring loom, that's for crafting. Cobalt. Boonium. Pure ferrite. Chromatic metal. Should be good. The rest of the stuff I can sell. Never even heard of that. Never even heard of green shell, green hell. Never heard of it. Alright, I will be right back. Alright. Before we go to the new planet, I need to check a couple things, because I just got reminded it was 11:30. This is a great comment. So Select 20, he's been in our YouTube community for a while. He's made a lot of comments and a lot of videos. He's just leaving a comment on my Starfield versus No Man's Sky video, which I'll physically reply to this later. But he says, great video as always. Getting tired of watching your videos and then having you inspire me to download a game to revisit it or to try a new game altogether. I only have so much time, man. He says, I made a comment the other day about No Man's Sky that I felt like the game was extremely broad but didn't feel as deep. And then I was recently talking to a friend about this and he said, I only feel that way because it's not an RPG and I prefer RPGs. Well, he hit the nail on the head. And I had never thought about that aspect of myself as an individual and how I compare other games to RPG type games consistently, and then I complain that there's no depth to those games. So yeah, now after watching your videos, I'm going to re-download No Man's Sky and just enjoy it and try not to subconsciously compare it to the RPG type games that I typically would gravitate towards. This is a brilliant comment because this comes back to what I was talking about. I did a video for my YouTube channel members last night, and if you're a member of the channel, you can go watch it over there. But we were talking about, in brief, how tastes change. Because when I tried this game for the first time 3 years ago, I said it fucking sucks. I crashed my ship. It sucked. I was 3 hours in. I said fuck this, uninstalled it, moved on with my life. Coming back 3 years later, my tastes have changed. Also, I try not to compare things too much to other things because every game does things differently. And if you get stuck in that cycle, this is what a lot of the rage bait YouTubers will do, is they want to compare everything. The perfect example of this is you see a lot of the people on the Starfield versus No Man's Sky video complaining about loading screens in Starfield, or the fact that they can't take off from a planet and go to space. They want to be able to control their ship all the way through into space and then all the way back down. And they refuse to accept that Starfield is not, nor ever it will be, that kind of a game. They have a completely different engine. They do something completely different. Their focus is on the RPG aspects of their game. It does have space flight. It does have planets. It does have outposts. But Starfield is not a space exploration game in the same way that this is a space exploration game. And trying to compare those two mechanics from two different games and say that they should both do it exactly the same is bullshit. They should not do it exactly the same. No game should do it exactly the same as someone else. Otherwise, we would have carbon copies of everything. That's what happened when World of Warcraft came out as like the big MMORPG killer. Every game in the world tried to copy World of Warcraft exactly. They tried to make World of Warcraft clones, and all of those games faded into non-existence. It is futility trying to make something exactly like something else. Games should draw inspiration from each other and strive to do things similar to each other, but they should never do them exactly the same. We should always have differentiating features. So kudos to Select 20 for having the balls to admit that they were getting in the way of their own enjoyment. Like their mentality of, I gotta compare this to these other games, and if it's not playing exactly like these other games, I don't want to play it. he's understanding and he's maturing as a gamer. His tastes are changing. He's getting out of the way of his own self, and he's finding enjoyment in No Man's Sky now that he's stopped comparing it to other games. And I feel like that applies to every game. Starfield, all these other games. Get out of your own head, get out of your way, learn how to find enjoyment. There's enjoyment in lots of different games out there, everybody. So Dennis just made a really good comment that if you're not a channel member for a long enough time, you're not going to understand this. But he said, "No Man's Sky is a Bulgarian tomato. Join the channel as a member, and you'll learn things like this." The Bulgarian tomato reference is brilliant. Lord of the Apes says, "I love that you're still putzing around in the Radiant Pillar. Most people ditch it ASAP." Dude, I'm gonna run this thing until it stops working. Like, I'll run it until I can no longer, like, if I can't keep adding modules to it. But I love the look of this ship even. Hang on, let's get out real quick. Like, I think it looks kind of cool. Like, it's a nice little X-wing, snub-nosed X-wing kind of Battlestar Galactica style fighter. Like, I like it. I wish I could change the colors on it, but other than that, it's kind of a cool little ship. Goodspeed says that's Bethesda's fault because before launch they made it seem like it was going to be all these seamless immersion. I'm gonna call that out and say no, that's not true. That was people's misconception because not one of their publicity videos or any of the things they did they ever talk about seamless immersion. That's also, by the way, this is the same thing. We have people now who are watching the Star Wars Outlaws videos. When they first saw Star Wars Outlaws a year ago, and it was announced that it was going to be open world, space to planet to space. You have a ship. Everyone is like, "Oh my God, this is so cool!" And so many people said a year ago, Star Wars Outlaws is going to be No Man's Sky in space. We're going to be able to take off and land in our ships, and we're going to be able to have, seamless going from. And then they come to find out that that's not the case. They never promoted that, ever. They just said you're going to be able to take off and land on your ship and go from space to planet and planet to space. That's all they ever said. But the people out there made up their own assumptions about what style that was going to look like. Then we see the spaceflight video from last week, and you have all these people who are upset because they found out that Star Wars Outlaws does not allow you to seamlessly take off from a planet and go into space and go from space back down to the planet. It is very much loading screens, but it's done in a different way. When you're landing on a planet, you go into the cloud fog, the cloud cover. The engineers came out and said in that video, once you enter the cloud cover, the game's tech takes over, and the game transports you from point A, which is space, to point B, which is the planet, the landing place where you're going to be landing your ship. The cloud cover is a loading screen so that they're dumping the assets from space and loading the assets from the planet. Once those have loaded, you leave the cloud cover, a cutscene kicks in, and you watch your planet come and land on that space station. Similarly, when you take off, you get the landing animation sequence of your ship taking off. You enter the cloud cover, your ship, you then unload the assets from the planet, you load the space assets, and then your ship emerges from the cloud cover, and you then have control of your ship in space. But it is not, never has been, never was promoted as such. It was never promoted as a game where you're going to be able to seamlessly take off from planets and go to space like you can in No Man's Sky. But people made up their own assumptions about it and said, this is how that game's going to play. That's just people's perception. Sometimes people hype things up in ways that they shouldn't because they want something to be true and they don't actually pay attention to what the developers are saying. And then when they see a video of it, they go, well, that's not what they promised us. They're lying. And that's just not true. It's perception. People get way too, it's a clickbait thing. They want something to be true. They see a tagline. They think that it's true. But it's just not the case. Farfuffle says that happened with this game. People jumped on the multiplayer hype when in the interviews it was clearly stated you could bump into someone, but it was highly unlikely. I remember that for sure, Farfuffle. Way too many people made the claim that this was supposed to be an MMORPG, and I never got the impression from the interviews that it was going to be an MMORPG. I got the impression from the interviews that it was going to be a game where I could run into people, but that mostly I was going to be playing single player, which at the time, I wasn't really that interested in playing it. Alright, we have quests to go off planet. Going to a new galaxy. Well, then you better get ready to get a refund, good speed, because I guarantee you it's going to have loading screens. Oh shit, we're getting attacked. There's pirates. Shit. Move. I don't want to deal with pirates right now. Go away, pirates. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a good example. It has loading screens all over the place, and that's Rockstar tech. I mean, I think we've already seen loading screens in Grand Theft Auto 6, I'm pretty sure. From the previews that we've seen. Does this one have a different... No, I just landed out farther. By the way, that black screen you see when you leave your ship, that's a loading screen. Even No Man's Sky has loading screens. It's just how the game masks it. Every game does it a little bit differently. A lot of things, people forget that animations, cutscenes, are loading screens, or they can be used as loading screens. So while you're watching the cool cutscene, that's just a preloaded cutscene, and while you're watching that cutscene, it's dumping assets and loading more assets. Correct, Dennis. I think that they've done an admirable job here. I must have already grabbed this one. It's a weird-looking helmet. I thought I was in a new system. Maybe not. Why did it gave me a different... It switched my quest. I must have been here before because it switched me to the main quest for finding Apollo, which was in this system. So I have been to this system before, apparently. See, I wish there was a way. I probably just need to pay attention more to the names of things, because I could be using the teleporter to come to these places if I've already been to these galaxies, but I don't know if you can know in advance. That's a distress signal. I'm not looking for the distress signal. I'm looking for this over here. Why does it say I have an incoming message? Okay. Though the transmission is confused with static and its alien speech garbled, the one thing is unmistakable: the life form is in great distress. Their broadcast contains a set of coordinates. The pre-recorded hologram fades as I shut down my starship communicator. The coordinates point to a nearby planet. You see, it switches my quests. I hate it when it does that. The Guild War 2's one, yes. I don't know about LotRO. I played LotRO for years and years and years, and I never had an issue with LotRO needing to load an area like that. Guild Wars 2, yes, for sure. That was the way they did their tech. Hang on, that's probably what I'm going to right there. Yep, it's inside here. Oh shit, this planet! The gravity is wacky on this planet. That's awesome. That was great. Hang on, there's probably tentacles in here. Yup. Okay, access the memory. I found them standing over me as I awoke, their beak chattering, their eyes caught between horror and joy. It was the tallest Gek I'd ever seen, but the mystery was soon solved. They asked me of the Empire. They wanted to know if the first spawn still spoke their name. In life, they possessed 100 Korvax slaves, you see. They do not remember how they arrived in this place. Their face swarms with nanites. They are lonely. Alright, let's search the cache. Okay, I have received decayed records of the Crimson Orb. I also got some sort of a module just now. Infra Knife. I don't even know what that is. That didn't do what I thought it did. I thought it was going to break it down, and it didn't. I'm an idiot. That's okay. Learn something new every day. That was a ship gun. I thought I could break it down, but I clicked it and it didn't break it down. I think I misunderstood what breaking down was earlier. Oh, oh, oh. Slow it down. Alright. Distress signal, but I do want to go to the space station. Oh, only if it's already installed. That makes sense, Lady Atara, because I totally did it earlier this morning, and I thought it was just directly from my inventory, but it must have been because I'd already installed it, and then I broke it down from there. Okay, that makes sense. This is that pyramid one that we saw yesterday. I think I gotta go to the other side. There it is. Alright, back to my home base. We got a computer to check out. One of these days I'll finish this quest line. Somebody said I had to do like 10 of them in a row. I think this is my 4th or 5th one. At some point I'm going to get back to the main storyline. I'll probably do it. I want to finish this. I want to see this to the completion, to the end of like whatever I'm getting for the base computers. So however long this takes, it could be another day or two. But once we wrap this up, I'll move back to doing storyline missions. But this has been very good because it's gotten me like modules for my ship, modules for my exosuit. It's taught me all these things about crafting. Like we're working with the overseer and the science person, and now I'm supposed to get an armor to install tech at my... That's a whole nother series of quests as well, tied into this. Again, the beautiful part of being a new player in an 8-year-old game is that I've got 8 years of catching up to do, so there's no end of the things that I can work on. Backup coordinates. And we go back out again. The vastness of space, 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 space. Alright, we're going to a new system. Halfiak. First contact. Well, before we do anything, let's go to the space station and get our upgrade, and then we'll hit the anomaly and grab that upgrade as well. Where the heck? There it is. Oh, it's like through the mist. Oh, it's right there. $2 super chat over on YouTube from Jurassic Park saying, I'm watching your old VODs but wanted to say hello. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the support. Which old VODs are you watching? The old No Man's Sky stuff or something more? There's a lot of different old VODs on my channel. What we got here? What I did not know until someone pointed it out to me, was you could choose to install a new mod slot or a new inventory slot. I did not know that that's how this worked. So I've been only focused on inventory, which are now 50,000 units per, and I've never done these before, which are only 1,000. So I'm actually going to take the time to upgrade my tech slots right now, get some more mod slots. I didn't know you could choose between the two, so. No, everybody keeps asking about the expeditions, Brett. I'm not gonna do expeditions, not for the moment. just as much as I'm not doing freighters at the moment. Even though I have a freighter, I don't know enough about the game to feel comfortable jumping into expeditions. I suck at gunplay. Like I need to, I need to learn a little bit more. I don't remember how long this current expedition goes, but I would imagine that, maybe in a week or two, I'll feel comfortable enough to want to run some expeditions, but it's definitely not my priority at the moment. I do realize we can get some really cool rewards out of those and everything else, but I'm still very much learning the base game. Expeditions are something I would focus on, after I'm, when I run out of things to do for the base game, if that makes sense. I realize I can get a cool ship from it and some other cool rewards, but I still very much have a ton of stuff to do here. Runs until September? Oh yeah, I've got plenty of time then. By the way, so these are all for the exosuits. Can you ever find upgrade bays for your ship where you can add stuff to your ship? Or is it just if you want a ship with more mod space, you go buy a different ship? Is that how that works? Where did you get that? At the market today? Oh, un señor que vende en la calle. Here comes Frodo. He's like, what are you guys eating? Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. What's mommy got? Come here. Yeah, let's see what mommy's got. Can he have that? ¿Puedo comerlo? Ah! Thank you. Now he's just gonna rub on it. Oh, don't use your claws, buddy. Ouch! He just goes, "Thank you, mommy. At least you're offering me food. Maybe I won't eat it, but." He's such a big baby. He's Christina's baby more than he is mine. Definitely. He scratched my belly pretty good right now. I'm gonna have to put some alcohol in that. He does pretty good most of the time, but every once in a while he gets a little carried away with his claws. He's definitely Christina's baby. No, don't go down on my arm, buddy. That's a bad place to go. No. Chris. Yeah, he'll scratch me. Go ahead. Thank you. Go on with mommy. Go with mom. Good boy. Yes. Yeah, he likes to ride shoulders. It's really funny when you're doing dishes. It's not so funny. I think it was 2-3 mornings ago. He did just get me on my stomach a little bit. I pulled a pot. Chris had roasted a chicken, and I pulled the container out of the fridge, and I put it on the counter, and I was getting into it to get some chicken out to make some tacos. And Frodo was down on the ground asking for some, and I was like, just give me a second. Well, he didn't want to wait, and he jumped. That cat right there that we just saw, he jumped on my back because he wanted to get up on my shoulder and because he likes to, he's usually, like, if he's on top of the fridge or if he's top on the washing machine or something, he'll jump on your shoulder, like while you're cooking and everything else. And he's very good about his claws. But the problem is when you wear a t-shirt like this, or if you do any fast movements while he's in the middle of jumping, and I didn't know he was going to jump up on me, so I had turned and was like digging something out of the pot, and I had turned back around as he jumped, and he got me right in the back, and right now I've got like one of his claws went down my shoulders. He's a amazing cat, but like with all cats, accidents can happen. All right, let's go get our planetary research. Oh, there it is right there. This is an unmapped planet, it says. Wait, does that mean I haven't mapped it or nobody's mapped it? That's got to be the structure right there, I would bet. So we'll come in and we'll land right over here. Alright, look for tentacles in the ceiling first. I don't want to get eaten by any plants. Okay. Access the memory. The three of us journeyed you to the center, the Sentinel, the first spawn, and the Traveler, all children of the Atlas. Oh, that's interesting. So I'm supposedly some sort of iteration of the Traveler as I've come to understand it. I don't know exactly how that works. So I'm an iteration of the Traveler, but there's also the Sentinels and the first spawn. This is the first I'm hearing of the first spawn. All children of the Atlas. Programmer says nobody's discovered this planet. You could rename it and upload it to the server so any other players could see your planet name if they came across your system somehow. That's cool. Okay, the first spawn would not stop talking, would not stop glorifying their cruel life of brutality and pain. One night they sang a song, a tale of the lost people of an armada of freighters fleeing the abyss. A world where every sentinel turned against every living being, annihilating them all within moments. Sounds like Raised by Wolves, which is a great show on HBO if you haven't watched it. The lips show no sign of understanding. It did not leave us, nor did it try and explain. Brett says you're the latest in a series of trillions of iterations. So it's kind of like the Starborn in Starfield. You're one of... I kind of gathered that from the trails of the story I've seen so far. Because they keep mentioning iterations. Alright, we got a cyclotron module. For the cyclotron ballista. So if I chose to install it, I think this is how I broke it down last time. Which doesn't really do anything for me. Upgrade. Yeah, that's fine. Dismantle. Here's where okay, so you do have to insist. Thank you, Lady Atara. That was a confirmation. You do have to install it first to be able to then break it down and get the tech from it. But that's really good to know because I've done that twice now and I've gotten 2 wiring looms which are worth a lot of money and I've used in other things. Alright, let's go back to... either the anomaly or the station. We're going to head back to our ship. Oh, these are purple asteroids. Oh, no, they're not. That was just the color. All right, I don't need to do any of that. Loading screen. Alright, we're gonna head back to Spaces. I think maybe tomorrow I'll work on storyline again, because I think we've done 2 or 3 days of doing these base computers. I definitely want to keep going. We'll see. We'll see how I feel tomorrow when I do the stream tomorrow. But I do feel like at some point we need to get back to pursuing the storyline stuff of, like, hunting down Apollo, finding more about that. I was trying to get through these because everyone was like, it's going to be like 10 or so of them in a row. And I haven't been keeping track to see how many we've actually done. Okay. Download the coordinates. Okay, this is going to lead me to another one. However, I need to check how much fuel I have. Doing okay on hyperdrive fuel. I mean, I probably am good for... What's it taking per jump? Like 20%? It's got to be, because I was at 80% and I've done 2 warps. So I think it's taking 20% per warp with this particular ship. Demon Slayer says, I know he's a super polite guy. Not really, but okay. I'm most of the time I try to behave. So what's your preference? Starfield or No Man's Sky if I had to play one? I don't have enough information to make that judgment call right now, because if I had to make the call as of right now, I would still pick Starfield. Because I prefer thematic, cinematic storytelling above open world exploration every day of the week. Every game I play, I'm always on the hunt for the story, and that's because as someone who has 20 million words in print, I love story. I need cinematic storytelling. I need, like, my preference is always going to be for the things that give me that cinematic narrative, the romances with party members who come with me and have storylines. The RPG, yeah, I'm an RPG player first and foremost. I gotta have story. If this game had those elements, I would feel a lot more strongly about this game. What I do love about this game right now is like it has a very interesting art aesthetic, which I really like, and I am getting great enjoyment out of the base building right now. Like, this is probably the best base building game that I've played ever, honestly. Like, I like Minecraft with my brother and my nephew. That's a lot of fun. I really like Enshrouded, but Enshrouded has a long way to go. Valheim's good, but Valheim has a long way to go. Starfield has some great base building aspects to it, but they still have a long way to go. They just launched. They need, this game's had 8 years to iterate. Starfield's been out for 1 year. So in terms of base building, this is definitely, I feel like it's probably the best base building game I've played in the last, 3 years for sure. And I'm having a lot of fun with that at the moment, but for me, it's always going to be RPG storytelling. That's always going to take precedence. Sorry, that's always going to be my preference. Yeah, I do love the NASA punk art style of Starfield more than this game. So if someone were to ask me, in a perfect world, would you prefer No Man's Sky? What would you prefer? Like the blending of, if you were to blend Starfield and No Man's Sky together, would that be your perfect RPG? I mean, it would be a very interesting RPG. I would prefer some of the cool open world mechanics that they do from No Man's Sky with some of the storytelling aspects, and I definitely prefer the art style of Starfield more. The gunplay's better, the space combat's better in Starfield than it is here. But this game, from what I've seen so far, the base building is a lot easier to get into. Starfield does good base building, but it's really intensive. Like, all the research you have to do to get, and all the skills that you have to get to be able to unlock the research necessary to build outposts, like in the engineering tree, which requires you to go out and level up. And Starfield's you got to put a few hundred hours into that game if you're going to get the most out of it. It's probably the same here. I shouldn't say it's definitely the same here, but this game definitely lacks that cinematic storytelling element. There is story here, but there's no voiceovers. There's no romancing of companions. I don't have a companion to the story. It's just generic little guys like Navigator Urash, who's like, go hire this new dude and we will together make a new thing. Oh, I don't Yeah, I could tell you that for a fact, Demon Slayer. The inventory management here. So one of the things I haven't said this out loud yet, but I've been nitpicking it in my mind every single time I have to do it. If I go over here and click the portal, this is a perfect example of something that gets tedious over time. So I click the portal. I'm now given a list of places that I can teleport to. Now, in my mind, if I was the developer behind this, I would then say all you need to do to go to your next location is to pick one of these things, hover over it, and then hold the button to like transfer there, or click it and it takes you there. Click and it says, do you want to go here? Go there. Or in this case, they want you to hold it down. But instead, they make you do this. They send you to an unnecessary third screen, which is this screen, where you then have to move your icon down to the warp to Renfail's first base and then hold down here. That is an unnecessary step that could be removed in a quality of life update. That is a nitpick from me, because this adds to the tedium, because I've been told now that every time I use this warp thing, I have to go through this additional step that I wish I didn't have to do. The other one too is like if I go to obviously there's this quick menu down here where I can go quickly like recharge things, right? I can go up, click something, recharge it, and then it gives me a menu of things where if I have the resources I can do it. It's way more tedious to do it from the inventory, because first you have to go to the inventory and like let's say I pick this right here. First I have to click this, then I go down to click this. Now, in my mind, the way this would work would be like, first I click this, it tells me the fuel. Oh, I have the fuel. Click the fuel, immediately it installs the fuel. That's how I would do it. But instead, they make me have an extra step where I have to click the fuel, and now I have to move the fuel on top of the thing that I just clicked to tell me what fuel I needed. So that to me is an unnecessary series of steps, which adds to the tedium of inventory management. So these are some little things that I would change were I the person designing this game. And so reading articles that say that the inventory management can be tedious, that is absolutely legitimate criticism. And that's one thing that I would change for sure. Alright, off to the next warp destination. Yeah, Brett, the story is very impersonal, buried, and requires lots of lore digging to figure out. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not an RPG style storyline. It's definitely not. It's a completely different style. We're going back. I've definitely already been to that place, I feel like. Frontiera? Hang on, let me go to the space station here. I feel like I've already been there. Actually, where's my base? Well, whatever, just to satisfy my own curiosity, let's... Frontiera. Pragmatic says, I actually use the information of the base screen sometimes, but I'd agree that you should be able to warp directly with another button. Yeah, there's little things. They're just quality of life things that I would change if I could. Frontiera is what it said. Wall Q, give me a second and I'll answer your question about Lord of the Rings Online. Just give me a second here. Because I can't do 3 things at once, otherwise my brain fries. Because I could swear I've already been to Frontiera, and I don't want to waste a warp cell. I don't know how to tell if I've already been to a station. Oh, I have not been there yet. No, I have. Frontier, right here. Alright, your question is, just started Lord of the Rings Online, and your content is a big help with the Guardian. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Those videos are a little older, but still should be relevant. Can I ask what armor set you're wearing on him? I don't know which Guardian you're looking at, because I have a Dwarven Guardian, I have a Human Guardian. I think and without logging in, I wouldn't know, but I would say that, more than likely, it's the set of Dwarven. Man, there's a guy in the Lowlands. There's a dwarf you can find in the Lowlands outside of shit. Now you're making me think. I can't remember the name of the town. Hang on, I'm racking my brain trying to remember it. Because you start off in the Lowlands, you go to the Forgotten, you go to the inn. Yeah, it's the Human Guardian. It's like an orange or brown set with like scales across the chest or something, with like squarish looking shoulder pads. Is that the one you're thinking of? Oscaroth, yes. That's the town I'm thinking of. So I know that many of the starter characters that I have, there is a dwarf NPC out from Oscaroth, like southwest. He's standing by a rock formation which leads to an underground little area we can go quest and kill some orcs and stuff inside. He's a little dwarf NPC, and I can't remember his name, but he's like southwest of Oscaroth, out in the middle of the nowhere by the road. Like, sort of, you can see the road from where he's standing. And he goes down into an underground area. That guy sells some dwarven cosmetic gear that you can buy, and he's got like multiple different sets of it. And I'm pretty sure if that's the set I'm thinking of, I almost always go buy that set for my plate wearing characters, because it's a really cool looking set. Oh shit! I'm guessing this is on the other side of the anomaly. Yep. And I can't remember the name. Like, it's been forever ago since I've. Almost Bird says it's a good area to farm scholar materials. It is. There's an orc encampment like up on a hill above there, but he's down by the road, and there's like it's a little cave entrance that you can get into. And you go underground, and there's like some sewage stuff in there, and there's some quests in there to kill orcs and goblins and stuff. You could probably buy that same, I don't know, but I would assume that you could probably buy the same stuff back in Thorin's Hall, maybe. But that's where I usually get my first set of cosmetic gears, as soon as I'm like level 15 or whatever, and I can get to that guy. It's one of the dwarven sets, because I love like the square shoulder pads, and it's got like scale mail looking breastplate, which I think is really cool. But also I've got that's one of the games I've played for the longest amount of time. So I have max level crafters for everything. So I'm hoping that's the armor set you're talking about, because if it's one of the crafted armor sets, I have no fucking clue. I would literally have to log in to see what he's wearing, because it's been a year and a half since I've logged in and played Lord of the Rings Online. Alright, I'm looking for some sort of a structure. Man, I don't see anything man-made. I'm gonna have to get down and do the scan dance, probably. Oh, no, is there something over here? No, that's like a cave. Alright, we're definitely gonna have to land and do the scan dance to find out where this is. Not seeing any structures around here. Oh, there's the structure. Oh, there's probably, yep, right there. Man, I've already been to this one, I think. So it sent me back again. The first spawn fought valiantly, but there was no saving them. The nanites had found their place within, protruding outward through every pore, through every limb, and every thought. And it was done. They departed with the family of glass, forever lost to this world. Their story had an end. I ventured on. We were almost there. I got a photon. Ooh, that one I could definitely use, because that one actually I have a photon cannon on my ship. Excuse me. Let's take a look at that one, because I can actually use it. Upgrades the photon cannon, improving fire rate by 1%. That was not a very impressive upgrade. No fuel. However, I do have fuel in my inventory. I planned ahead for a change.
Technology recharge.
Programmer says the story of No Man's Sky tries to avoid giving the player a predefined personality or role. It's more of an open-ended philosophical approach. Yeah, kind of like Conan Exiles. Conan Exiles does environmental storytelling like this, where... So does Enshrouded, by the way. Enshrouded very much gives you the environmental storytelling approach. You're finding clues in the game world, which give you a history of the world around you, but it doesn't define who you are or what you do. You get to choose what you do with that information, how you interact with it, as opposed to the traditional RPG, which very much puts you on the path of you're completing these steps in these orders to get a narrative that does this, that, or the other. So it's just fine. They're both different ways to do it, but this is more of an environmental storytelling approach, whereas the other is the narrative RPG storytelling approach. Alright, let's hit up the space station. Yeah, I need to pay better attention, programmers, because so far I think it's sent me to different places each time, but that one I was looking at it going, wait a second, I think I've already been there. And I didn't want to waste the warp fuel. I think this is going to be on the other side that we log into. Yep, there it is. Speaking of ships though and everything else. I got to get back to. I'm almost ready to push out my Starfield Ultimate Beginner's Guide to starship building on the Xbox. I'll probably work on that. If I don't wrap it up this week, I'll wrap it up next week. But I'm almost ready to do that, and then I'll be done with starship building, and I'll move on to starting to work on to the outpost building for Starfield. But that character is mostly parked and ready. Once we have a launch date for the DLC, what I'll probably do is, once we know when Shattered Space is coming out, I'll probably come back in about 2 weeks before and pick up the playthrough that I was doing and start grinding out all the skill points I want and everything else. But we'll wait until then. I'll be right back. Alright. You waited to stop. Cable Guy says, I waited outside GameStop for the midnight release of this game. Got the steel case edition. Nice. What is that gear sign that's on my... radar? Okay. Locate the archive. Okay, what are we doing so far? Put some more tritium in the engine.
Technology recharge.
Does it tell you from here? It just says it's off-world, consult the galaxy map. It doesn't actually tell you beforehand whether or not it's at a place you've already explored. You actually have to go to space first to check the galaxy map. I've definitely been to Easelbub before, which is where it wants me to go next. Easelbub. So let's just go to the... we can turn around and land again. back on the planet. We go straight back to the teleporter. Easelbub system. I don't know if there's an easy way to do this, but as far as I'm aware, you have to go into space to check the galaxy map first. Before you can know where you're going. That's a rather baseless claim, M. Every person who plays on normal mode cheats off cam. What are you even talking about? Easelbub? That neither one of those are the names of the places. Maybe I'm mistaken and I haven't been to that place yet. Because I don't see the name of that system here. I may have misread that. Galaxy map? Oh, I can't use it yet. I have to get a little bit further into space. Okay. Easelbub is not what I was thinking of. It's got a different name. Frontiera! That's the name of the system. Yeah, we were just there, so we gotta go back to the same... It's had us repeat the same place twice. Okay, so Frontiera. I'll go back really quick. That's fine. Turn around, go back down to my base. Well, it sounds like there's a solution to that, Chris James Magic. The solution is to reinstall. Alright, we're going back to the Frontiera system, it looks like, really quick. Frontiera. Take me to my ship. All right. Going back down to the planet again. Yeah, it's been pretty amazing, Farfuffle, ever since the new update. Like, every planet I go to is just eye-wateringly beautiful in the art style that they've chosen to have for this game. Probably that little station right here. Probably knows where I'm landing. There's a cave right there too. I feel like this might be a cool place to build like a base. It's got lower gravity. There's not a lot of resources here is the problem though. Okay, next lore bit. Something was very wrong. The Atlas interface had grown still, its orb cold and gray. The computers did not respond. Nothing did. It took a few moments before I realized that Laylapse was gone. I was alone. So that's the Traveler speaking. Because we know that there was 3 entities, right? I'm assuming that's the Traveler speaking. Maybe I was confused. Oh, my life support is at 50%.
Technology recharge.
I don't know who that M person was on YouTube, but I just hid them from the channel because they're being really obnoxious and annoying. So I apologize for the spam, everybody. Ranting and raving about people using easy settings, being slimy, greasy idiots. Yeah, we're not going to tolerate that kind of bullshit here. I'm going to come around to the other side here. Frontier Station Alpha. God, I feel like we've done at least 10 of these things. We got to be getting close to the end of the line for this. Yeah, some people, Babylonia. Exactly, Camo Guy. Hello Games wants people to be able to play the with one. By the way, I haven't had a chance to stop today. So we did a reaction series of videos before we played today. So I've been going for about 5 hours. Enshrouded Update 3 hit today, and they added adjustable difficulties to Enshrouded. So I am so stoked about that because it now makes it one step closer to being as good as this game, just in a fantasy medieval format. And I'm a big fan of the customizable difficulties and allowing people to play how they want. Very, very cool stuff. Yeah, I feel like I should be getting to the end of this program. Plus the storyline, what we just got to was like, I'm all alone. Let's go see where this is going to send me. The good thing is that with my landing platform, I don't spend any fuel every time I have to jump up into space and like check my galaxy map. It wants to send us right back to the Frontiera. Okay, cool. So, turn back around, dive bomb back down to my base. Well, I was really hoping to wrap this part up today if possible, because I'd love to be able to jump back into the story missions for tomorrow. We'll see if that happens or not, because I am getting close to my cutoff point because I need to go eat. My food's been ready for like an hour. My wife is very gracious in not yelling at me. Eat your fucking food. But I've gone out like 3 times to like go to the bathroom and stuff, and she's like, "Are you ready to eat? You ready to eat? You ready to eat?" It's like, give me. I'm almost done. I promise. Yes, programmist, I don't disagree. This is one of those little areas where I would complain a little bit and say this is a not very well polished gameplay loop that could definitely be refined with some quality of life. Like, one of the things that would help is like, tell me what is the name of the planet that I need to go to, and if it's a planet I've already been to, just let me go straight there from the teleporter. Don't make me go to space, check the galaxy map, and then know where I need to go. Like, let me check a galaxy map from the holo station in my desk, in my station. Like, that would be a cool thing to do, you know? It's all good. This is why we say cozy, because it's not like this is some horribly tedious task. Although I can see how this could get long term. This could get tedious for some people. I've only had to repeat it like 7 or 8 times to the same planet. But I would rather do this than burn my warp fuel. Like. Coming in hot. I heard the music again this morning, the same signal that led me to this realm. I stood and listened, honing my instruments to find the source. Was the name of the song All Along the Watchtower? I was expecting some different result, but what use was science here? If a computer is on fire, what good are the prayers of data? Geology cannon module. I don't know what that is. I cannot wait till I can get to the point where I can build an underwater space station, and also have like a sub and go underwater. That sounds super fun to me. That was one of the things I'm most excited about getting to whenever I get to that point. I'm not in a rush to get there, but I am looking forward to it. By the way, I would say if Star Citizen would ever add like good controller support, maybe they have in the time since I've played, but the last time I played it was mouse and keyboard or HOTAS flight sticks. You couldn't use a controller. If they would add controller, Like, I really like the way this ship flies, and it has drift and everything built into it. I could see that being a lot of fun. But I don't know that they're ever going to add. Maybe they have, and I just don't know. Like, maybe No Man's Sky, or maybe Star Citizen has controller support now. I just don't know. Brett says, I've been fighting abyssal horrors at the bottom of the ocean while watching you. You'll love the underwater stuff. That's awesome, guys. Can't wait. Yeah, I read that, Cable. I haven't gotten to that point yet. We're still I'm still early into the game, if you really want to look at it that way. I'm probably close to 20 hours by that point. I would have to look at the length of the streams so far. It probably, I think we're like 18 hours actually, because I think it said this morning when I logged in, I think I was at 15 hours of gameplay. So I think we're getting close to 20 hours. Alright, and it's going to want me to go somewhere else again. Well, we're going to save that for next time, everybody, because unfortunately I do have to go eat lunch, and I need to actually not only eat lunch, I have to cut this video up into segments, and I have to cut down the stream from earlier. I've got like 7 videos I got to cut out of that. So I still have like 3 or 4 hours worth of work ahead of me, and I have a stream tonight for EverQuest 2. So for those of you who want to hang out tonight, I'll be back in about what time is it right now? It's 1 o'clock. I'll be back in 4 hours for another stream where we're doing EverQuest 2 tonight. And then tomorrow I'll be back doing more No Man's Sky at the same time as we normally start, around 11 a.m. Central. And then, of course, if you did get a chance to watch the live stream earlier today, we did our live reaction filming. I'll have all of those episodes coming out on YouTube over the next few days, so stay tuned to those. For those of you who watched today for the first time, I multi-stream every day on YouTube and Twitch. If you're watching over on Twitch, make sure to also check out YouTube, because that's where all the day-to-day stuff happens. All the videos get broken down into the reaction videos, movie reviews, film reviews, book reviews, 30-minute Let's Play episodes, all the game trailers and reactions and everything else. If you liked what you saw here today, you can support on Twitch with subscriptions and bits and cheers. If you're on YouTube, you can do super chats like Jurassic Park did earlier today. Thanks so much for that. You could also join as a member. I have a new member video that went out yesterday for members here on YouTube. There's also a Patreon. You can get a copy of my latest fantasy novel. Links are down below. I'll be back later today. And if I don't see you then, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.